Hi there folks. Now this week's video is perhaps going to be one of the most boring trading education videos that I have ever put out there. Certainly the topic is far from exciting. I would go as far as to say that 99% of you won't even be bothered or be able to watch it to the end. Quite ironic really, because it's about the same percentage. 99% of you will fail when you start your trading journey. Maybe there is something in that. So today we are going to talk about backtesting. Sounds fun? Come on, let's get to it. So what exactly is backtesting? Well, backtesting is basically the looking back at historical data to see how your particular strategy would have performed in the past. So all the charting platforms these days, they provide all the historical data. So you can look back last year, 5 years, 10 years. Some packages go back even up to 20 years. So you can basically perform your strategy over past data to see how it worked. Now, I think it's really important that you use your backtesting in conjunction with your checklist, checking off as the strategy rules develop and then you take your trades. You need to make sure that you're following the checklist when you're doing your backtesting and taking it as seriously as you would as if there was real money on the line. So using it in conjunction with your checklist. It's also worthwhile that you backtest in the time zones that you're going to be trading. So for example, there's no point backtesting data in the Australian Asia Pacific time zone if you're only going to be trading in the UK and European time zone. And likewise, if you're not going to be around when the US is open, you don't want to be backtesting the US data. So make sure you backtest the data that's relevant to the time that you're going to be trading when you indeed start going live. Record your backtesting results in a journal. This is very, very important. I'll show you this when we get onto the screens. But keeping a journal of all your backtesting trades, just as you will be doing when you start your regular trading with the real live account. So keeping a journal, that's basically logging all the buys, the profit targets, the stops. Was it a profitable trade? Was it a losing trade, and so forth? So keeping your backtesting results in the journal, trying to keep it as true to life as you would do. And when you keep your journal, this will basically allow you to start working out the metrics behind the strategy. Now, we do have a separate lesson on the metrics. It's basically how we evaluate a particular strategy. So I'm not going to go too much into that at the moment, but it's important that you keep the journal so you can get the metrics of your strategy. Basically, the metrics tells you how the strategy should perform. Okay, so why do we backtest? Well, number of reasons why we backtest. So I actually think there's two main reasons why we backtest. Firstly, is to confirm whether our strategy has an edge in the first place. Has it got any chance of making money? And when you see your edge play out over past data, that will give you the confidence to trade it in forward data. So for example, if you know that you've got a strategy with an edge, but you know it has its losing streaks as well, you only know that if you backtest. So backtesting to confirm your strategy has an edge, so it doesn't give you any surprises of the forward-looking data, which you'll be using, of course, with real money. So you've got to make sure your strategy has an edge, and of course that's the most important thing. But also the practice in execution as well. Some strategies you'll be looking for certain things to happen, and this is going to help you spot these criteria that you've already laid out in your strategy rules and in your checklist. So making sure that you are proficient in actually executing the strategy. So that's a really good reason why we backtest as well, and it gives us the confidence to avoid the cycle of doom. I'm sure many of you have seen my, I think, most popular video and my most relevant video that I've ever put out there here in the Forex space, and that's the cycle of doom. It's why so many traders failed. You recall very briefly, cycle of doom is getting a strategy, trading a strategy, having some losing periods, tweaking it again, making some money, tweaking it, losing money, and just going around in that cycle, tweaking, changing, ditching strategies, finding a new strategy. That's why traders fail, because they're always tweaking, changing, because they're always unhappy with what the strategy does in drawdown periods. If you've done your backtesting, you know exactly how that strategy performs, so you won't be falling into that cycle of doom. Right, now let's jump onto the screens and I'll show you two basic ways that we can backtest. Come on. So first off, we'll look at backtesting using the regular MT4 platform. So you go to a regular chart. If you right click on the chart, go to properties, unclick the chart auto scroll and then click OK. And then using your mouse wheel, you can scroll back to a desired time. You can see the dates there at the bottom. We've got May 2020. Keep scrolling back. We might want to start, say, at the beginning of the year. Now, it's important to note that when you're backtesting, that you use the time period in which you are wanting to trade or backtest. So here we've got the 4-hour chart. So these are 4-hour candles. Once you've scrolled back to the desired time, remember, again, as I said there on the board, make sure that you are backtesting at the time when you will be able to trade, be it 8 in the morning London time, or be it 8 in the morning New York time, or wherever you are, of course, on the globe. Once you've decided that, you have your rules set out. You've got them there on a checklist, laminated if possible, and you're going to abide by those rules on each and every trade. You're looking for your predetermined rules of engagement to align. So, for example, as you would do in the regular market, you might want to put on some support and resistance lines. One there. This is just roughly drawn, of course, for the sake of this quick video. Maybe one up there. You might want to put on some moving averages as well. And when you're ready, you will scroll through the charts looking for your setup. So hitting the F12 button. So F12 will advance the candle one candle at a time. And you can see here, say we're looking for a pin bar. There's a pin bar. You may want to take that trade, for example. And indeed, that one would have worked out quite nicely. But you write down your entry. You write down your stop loss. You write down your profit targets and you calculate the risk accordingly. Now, it is quite a cumbersome way of doing it, manually backtesting of MT4, but it's certainly a viable way of doing it if you are unable to purchase any backtesting software, which we'll talk about in a moment. And you place these trades into a journal, a trade journal, so that you can monitor the results. Now, here's an example of a quick trade journal that I rustled up there on Excel. You may want to make one of your own, or you can purchase one from somewhere. You can do it manually, you can do it on a pen and paper, or indeed on an Excel file. So basically, the strategy name, the pair, buy, sell, entry price, just the regular details that you needed included in the strategy. And of course, then you record the results as well, stopped out, hit profit targets, and so forth. And after that, once you've done backtesting over a number of months or years, then you can start to work out these metrics. Now, I do have a separate lesson on metrics. I don't want to go into them now on this short lesson, but these are the type of metrics that you need to get once you've done your backtesting to evaluate whether your strategy is indeed a viable strategy. You get to know the ins and outs of it once you see it perform. So keep your backtesting results in a journal such as that. And away you go. So this is the MT4 version. As I say, it's not necessarily the best way to backtest. One of the drawdowns of this is that you can only have one particular time frame on the backtest at the same time. For example, this is a 4-hour chart. And if you were to want to have higher time frame confirmation, you wouldn't be able to do it using the MT4. You literally have to toggle back between the H4 and day one, for example, to see what's going on, to see if indeed it is. But once you go back to D1, that is going to maybe distort your backtesting. I don't know. Some people like to use MT4. I prefer to use backtesting software, and we'll talk about that now. Okay, so here's a quick look at the Forex Tester 4 software. Now, this is a third party. This is nothing to do with us here, although we have negotiated a better deal for you should you wish to take out a subscription. But basically what you need to do, of course, is download the data, whatever data you want. Once you've downloaded the data, you can put up your charts in the regular way that you would do in your in the real world. So here, for example, I've got the, what is this? This is the euro against the US dollar. You've got the daily. You've got the 4-hour, you've got the 1 hour, you've got the 15 minutes. You start your test by clicking start, and then every time I hit the space bar, it's going to advance by one of those particular time periods that you're on. So, for example, I'm on the 1 hour. Every time I hit the space bar, it's going to advance by 1 hour. And every 4 hours, of course, the 4-hour candle would advance. But if I clicked on the 4-hour chart and clicked the space bar, it's going to advance 4 hours at a time, which of course would be 4 of these bars. And of course, you've got the daily there as well. So every time you hit a daily, the hourly will advance by 24 hours, clearly. The good thing about this over the MT4 is that you can place trades as well. So although it is manual, it's much less cumbersome than using the MT4. So for example, if I wanted to place a trade there, I can hit a sell stop. I can put my stop loss in as well. Maybe have my stop loss up there. Maybe have my take profit target down here and place the trade. And of course, that trade then would be executed once the criteria has been met. And then of course, you can scroll on through to see if the profit or loss was taken on this particular trade. In fact, we hit profit target on that. So that again, go down in your trade journal. All the rules of entry are there, but of course you put out your entry levels, your stop levels, your take profit levels, any comments about it as well. So building up the data of your strategy to see how it performs. And I said on their board there, this is the most important thing you'll ever do in trading. The more hours you spend doing this, the better trader you will end up without a doubt. Now, another really cool part of Forex Tester 4 is that it actually does keep a track of all your data as well. Should you not wish to do it manually, I do think there's something to be said for doing it manually on your own journal. But if you are of the inclination not to do it that way, you can go to View, Show Panels, look at the statistics, and it works it all out for you here. We've had a total of 31 profitable trades, 15 losing trades. It works out the gross profit and profit factor and so forth, the average profits and so forth, probability of loss and probability of winning and so forth. So lots of bells and whistles here on Forex Tester 4. So I encourage you, if you are serious, that maybe you give this a look as well. But either way, MT4 or Forex Tester 4, it is crucial that you engage in extensive backtesting with your strategies that you intend to risk your hard-earned money with in the real market. Backtesting has a number of advantages, not only to make sure you've got the edge, but also making sure that you understand the strategy so you know what to do in periods of drawdown when you're losing, and we all have losing trades and periods as well. Okay, congratulations, you made it to the end. You are in the top 1%. Look, I hope you found the video useful. Hopefully you found the lesson important. It really is so important if you're going to succeed in this business. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, seeing as you made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you don't already do so, and that bell notification will notify you the moment the next video has been released. You can follow us on all the socials as usual. As you know, we are streaming live around the clock, 5 days a week, up to 6 times a day. If you want to take part in that, do come over to the site. The link is in the description below. Till next week, have a good week and take care.